how can you be prepared for when like you get involved in some negative environment? Like let's say like you can feel that, right? But how can you like protect yourself from having those negative thoughts, or being involved in that negativity and put your part in it too? Like, is there a way for you to like be aware of that before you jump into it?
Yeah. As I understand your question, and I'm not sure if I fully get it, but what first comes to mind is that I can't control my thinking. that like that happens, especially emotional thinking. It just happens. Like I'm walking along, I see something, I get triggered, and now I'm completely overwhelmed by it. So in that sense, uh, this work is kind of something I do after that. Like I can notice at some point, oh, I was getting triggered. So this might be something good to take a look at and do the work on. And then as I work it later on, I may get clearer on other options that I could have, other ways I could have seen that situation back when I review it. But this is not just for the benefit of clearing up that past situation. It also is a kind of prevention because as I see options in an old situation, situations tend to repeat themselves, and I may come into a similar situation where I will be presented with the same kind of stressors, and if I've worked through it to whatever degree it's sort of landed for me, I may start to see those options in real time, and I may sidestep the trigger. I may not actually get triggered, or I may get triggered and then get untriggered much more quickly. It's kind of a process like that. So I always think of it as like learning a sport or something. You first learn how to make that particular play, like in theory, maybe on a chalkboard, and then you have to go out and do it on the field. And then you usually will mess up a lot of times before you actually can do it in real life. And especially you might practice with your teammates and then you practice with another team. It's even harder, you know? So like with time, you become more and more able to maintain the clarity that you had when you were doing the work later when situations are coming up. But again, I'm not sure if I'm 100% on your question. So remind me again or say again what you're asking.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's like when I'm facing situations like that that are stressful, or because people around me are being negative, or related to that. Like one way out that I was like kind of that has been happening to me is that I usually go to like, are they doing that? Like, is that true? But it's not doing the work right away, but it's just like second guessing what's happening. But I find that it doesn't resolve the issue of like having those emotions like hit you, or like you know touch you and getting in that negative mood too. It's like, it's happening again, or things like that. So it's not like a complete solution for it. So you obviously need to do the work on that later on, and then you may find like peace in that situation, but not while in the moment.
Yeah, there's like a short version of doing the work, like the cheat sheet version. Is it true? Or ask yourself something like that in the moment, and it can be helpful. But if it's a big enough trigger, it may not be helpful. Like if I'm too much overwhelmed, then even in the moment when I'm saying, is it true? It's just too hard. I can't go there. Right. And so that's when I say, oh, mental note to myself, this will be a good one for me to work. I can't wait to get home and write a nice judge your neighbor worksheet. And then I'm going to spend the next week just doing a little bit each day on that worksheet and just see how much clarity I can gain from that situation. But if I've done a lot of work on something, then I might be back in that situation that triggers me. And just remembering, is it true, might be enough for me to kind of remember all that work that I did or some of the insights that I saw. And I might just be able to sidestep and not get triggered so much. So shortcut is fine, but it might not be enough. That's all. That's why I love the formal practice of the work, where I'm actually sitting down and doing the work. That's my focus. And sometimes the little short version, like one of my favorite short versions, is who would I be without that thought in that moment? Sometimes just that is enough, or even sometimes just identifying what is the thought I'm thinking without even saying, is it true, or who would I be without the thought, or anything. Just noticing in the stressful moment that I'm believing that she's so negative. And right in that, just seeing that that's what I'm thinking sometimes brings enough awareness that it starts to be less triggering for me. But if it's triggering, then no problem. I can go back to my formal work and do that at a later time. Even if I untrigger myself, I can still go back and do the formal work. And I love to do that. Like, even when it's, oh, that was no big deal. I managed to figure that one out pretty quick. But I may come back and still write a worksheet on it because there was something there. Something was still like, so I think of the work as cleaning up. I'm going in and cleaning up whatever's left. And I don't know what's left until I get presented with those stressful situations. So the stressful situations just show me what's in there. And if something's there, I'm in the business of looking for those things and cleaning it up as much as I can. So I'm excited. Okay, great. Another worksheet.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.